Life, in its essence, is a paradox. We are constantly faced with contradictions, situations where two opposing forces coexist, and both seem true at the same time. This is the nature of existence. It's not neatly divided into right and wrong, easy and hard, black and white. Instead, it invites us into a world of complexity, where the answers are often not clear and the paths are winding and intertwined. On one hand, we are taught to be disciplined, to take control of our lives, to push against the natural tide and make things happen according to our desires. We set goals, strive for success, and fight to create the reality we envision. In this sense, life seems to be a game of force, of action and willpower, where we believe that our efforts will shape the world to our liking. This is the heart of discipline, of trying to control life, to impose our will on it, believing that if we work hard enough, we will succeed in bending the world to our desires. On the other hand, there is the heart of surrender, of releasing control and trusting in the flow of life. Here we are asked to let go of our rigid grip on outcomes and accept that life will unfold in its own time and in its own way. This is a different kind of hard, not a struggle to impose our desires on the world, but the courage to embrace uncertainty, to let go of the need for constant control, and to trust that things will unfold as they are meant to. It's the challenge of letting life happen, of being present in the moment without trying to force it into a predefined shape. The paradox lies in the fact that both paths are difficult. On one hand, we fight to control and shape our lives according to our will, only to find ourselves exhausted by the endless struggle. On the other hand, we let go and trust. But that too requires effort to trust, effort to remain present, effort to accept that we cannot always predict or control the outcome. The paradox isn't about choosing between these two paths. It's about recognizing that both are essential aspects of the human experience, and both require a different kind of effort. In this way, life isn't about avoiding difficulty. It's about learning how to navigate the tensions between control and surrender, between effort and relaxation, between action and acceptance. The challenge is not in avoiding hard things, but in embracing the paradox, understanding that life is not a clear-cut path, but a dance between opposing forces that are both necessary for growth. It's only by accepting this paradox that we can begin to understand the true nature of our existence. The heart of letting go is not about abandoning responsibility or giving up entirely. It's about surrendering the need to control every aspect of life, accepting that we cannot force the world to bend to our will, no matter how hard we try. It's the difficulty of relinquishing our tight grip on outcomes and allowing the flow of life to unfold naturally. This is not a passive act of giving up, but an active choice to trust the unfolding process, to be in harmony with the rhythm of existence, and to accept what comes without resistance. Letting go requires us to confront a deep truth: we are not the masters of the universe, and much of life lies beyond our control. There's a humility in this realization, a quiet acknowledgement that our desires and expectations don't always match reality. In letting go, we must accept that things may not turn out the way we imagined. And that's a hard thing to face. We want certainty, security, and the comfort of knowing exactly what comes next. But the truth is, life is unpredictable, ever-changing and full of surprises, some of which may be unpleasant or uncomfortable. The heart of letting go also involves confronting our fears. It's easy to hold on to what is familiar, even if it's not serving us. We may fear that without our constant efforts and control, things will fall apart, that we will lose what we've worked for or fail to achieve what we want. Letting go feels like stepping into the unknown, like walking on a path without a map or a clear destination. It's not easy to release the need for security when we've been conditioned to believe that we must always be in control, always have a plan, and always know what's coming next. But the difficulty of letting go lies in the discomfort of uncertainty. We're so used to trying to fix problems, to chase solutions, that allowing things to be as they are feels unsettling. It's not that we stop caring about the outcome or stop working toward our goals. It's that we stop clinging to the outcome as if it's the only thing that matters. In letting go, we make room for life to surprise us, to offer us experiences and lessons we may not have expected, but that are exactly what we need. The hardest part of letting go is learning to trust, not just trust in others, but trust in ourselves and the process of life. It's about trusting that, even when we can't see the way forward, there is something greater at work that is guiding us in ways we may not immediately understand. Trusting life to unfold without our constant interference means acknowledging that we don't have all the answers and that it's okay not to know. It's about embracing uncertainty and seeing it not as a threat, but as a necessary part of the journey. Letting go also asks us to face our attachment to the past. We hold on to old identities, old relationships, and old expectations because they provide us with a sense of continuity and meaning. But to let go means releasing the past, accepting that it is no longer what defines us, and that clinging to it only prevents us from fully embracing the present. This can be painful, as it requires us to face the impermanence of life, the truth that things change, and that everything, including ourselves, is in constant flux. In the end, the heart of letting go is not about inaction, it's about an active choice to embrace life as it is, without trying to force it into a mold. It requires patience, acceptance, and a willingness to sit with the discomfort of uncertainty. Letting go is not giving up. It's opening up to the possibility that life has more to offer than what we could ever plan or control. It's trusting that, in surrendering, we find freedom, and in freedom, we discover a deeper connection to the flow of the universe. Both choices are difficult because life is rarely simple, and every decision carries its own set of challenges. When we choose the path of discipline, the heart of striving, we enter a world of constant effort, where we must remain vigilant, focused, and resilient. Discipline demands that we push through discomfort, that we hold ourselves accountable even when we don't feel like it, and that we keep moving forward despite setbacks and frustrations. It's the path where we have to fight against the natural flow at times, where we encounter resistance and obstacles that test our perseverance. In this way, discipline can feel like a constant uphill battle, a never-ending climb that requires both mental and physical energy. It's a hard that often leaves us feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and at times questioning the very reason for our effort. Yet even in this difficulty there is a sense of purpose, a feeling that through our struggle we are achieving something worthwhile, something that demands our sacrifice. On the other hand, choosing the path of letting go, the heart of surrender, presents its own set of difficulties. It asks us to relinquish the control we so often cling to step into the unknown without the comfort of a clear direction. Letting go requires a deep level of trust in ourselves, in the universe, and in the process of life unfolding. But this trust is not easy to cultivate. It's hard to let go when everything in us screams for control, when the fear of uncertainty looms large and the temptation to micromanage our circumstances is overwhelming. There's a vulnerability in surrendering, a fear that without our efforts, things might not turn out the way we want. In this difficulty, we may face feelings of insecurity, doubt, and even anxiety, wondering if we are making the right choice. It's a heart that requires emotional resilience, the ability to accept what we cannot change and to find peace in the midst of chaos. Both of these paths come with their own set of burdens. The discipline of striving asks us to endure hardship, to push through discomfort and resistance. It often feels like we are constantly in motion, with little time to pause or reflect. The pressure to keep going, to stay on course, can lead to burnout or a sense of dissatisfaction, especially when results are slow or not immediately visible. Yet we continue because there is a belief that this hard, though tiring, will eventually lead to something greater. We find meaning in the struggle, in the effort, and in the progress we make, even when it's small. On the other hand, the difficulty of letting go asks us to confront our deepest fears: fear of failure, fear of loss, and fear of the unknown. Letting go means accepting that we cannot control the outcome, that things may not go the way we hope. It means allowing life to unfold in its own time, which can be uncomfortable and unsettling. The very act of releasing our grip on the future often brings up deep-seated anxiety, as we are conditioned to believe that control is necessary for success and security. Yet, even within this discomfort, letting go offers the potential for freedom, for release from the constant need to push, to strive, and to be in control. The tension between these two paths lies in the fact that both require a form of discipline and both demand a certain surrender. Discipline is not just about control, it's about the ability to endure, to stay committed despite difficulty. Likewise, letting go is not about inaction, it's about having the discipline to trust, to surrender to what is, even when it's hard. In the end, both choices require effort, and both choices will challenge us in ways we may not expect. Neither path is free from struggle, but both offer the possibility of growth, of transformation, and of understanding the deeper rhythms of life. Fighting against the current is a constant struggle, a push against something larger than ourselves. It is the attempt to impose our will on the world, to bend it to our desires, no matter how much effort it takes. The current represents the natural flow of life, the way things unfold, the inevitable course of events, and the inherent unpredictability of existence. But when we try to fight it, we are saying that we know better, that our vision of how things should be is the right one, and we're willing to use all our energy to make it so. This fight at first can feel empowering. We feel as though we are in control, as though we are the architects of our own destiny, shaping the world with sheer force of will. But the more we resist, the more we struggle, the more we find ourselves exhausted and worn thin. This resistance is not just a physical struggle, it is emotional and mental as well. It is the constant tension between the way things are and the way we think they should be. It's the frustration of facing reality and realizing that it does not match our expectations, so we push harder, hoping that with more force we can make it align. We force ourselves to fit into molds that were never designed for us. The harder we fight, the more we come to understand that the current is not an adversary that can be defeated. It is a force of nature, and no matter how strong we are, we cannot change it through sheer willpower alone. Fighting against the current is also an act of ignoring the subtle signs that life is trying to show us. When we are in resistance, we miss the signals that life is offering, telling us where to go, where to relax, and when to trust. Instead, we forge ahead, blind to the possibility that we might be going in the wrong direction, or that the journey might be easier if we simply allowed the current to carry us. The fight often comes from fear that we will lose something, fear that we won't get what we want, fear that things will not unfold the way we expect. It is a deep-rooted anxiety that drives us to grasp, to hold on tighter, to demand things be different than they are. We struggle because we believe that if we stop fighting, we will lose control, or worse, we will be swept away. But there is also a false sense of control in fighting against the current. We believe that if we push hard enough, if we make enough effort, the outcome will be exactly what we want. This is the illusion of control, the belief that our will can overcome the natural course of events. However, this can leave us feeling disconnected from the present moment, always looking ahead to the future, always waiting for that promised moment of success or achievement, but never truly living in the here and now. We forget that there is beauty in the process, in the ebb and flow of life, and that by resisting it, we miss the subtle joys that come from simply being part of the flow. Fighting against the current also keeps us trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. Even when we do achieve what we think we want, the struggle never truly ends. There is always something else to fight for, another goal to reach, and another battle to win. We live in a constant state of striving, of never fully content with where we are. This constant push forward can make us feel like we're always chasing something just out of reach, and when we catch up, we find that the next obstacle is already in our way. The peace we long for is always a step ahead, just beyond the horizon, and we miss it because we are too caught up in the fight. In many ways, fighting against the current is an attempt to avoid the vulnerability that comes with surrender. To let go is to trust that we do not have to control everything, that the world can unfold in its own time and space. But to fight requires us to maintain the illusion of control, even though we know deep down that we are not in charge of everything. It is the fight to keep a facade of certainty, to resist the unknown, to make life fit into a box of our own design. This battle is tiring, and the toll it takes is not just physical but mental and emotional as well. In the end, life is shaped by the choices we make, each one a step toward defining who we are and how we engage with the world. Whether we choose the hard path of discipline or the challenge of surrender, we are continually confronted with decisions that demand our attention, our reflection, and our action. The illusion of control can deceive us into thinking we have mastery over everything. But the truth is that life is unpredictable and full of forces beyond our command. Yet, in this uncertainty lies our true power, the power to choose how we respond, how we grow, and how we contribute to the world around us. It is through our choices that we not only create our personal journeys, but also shape the collective experience of humanity. Every choice, whether born from fear or trust, resistance or acceptance, offers an opportunity for growth, transformation, and deeper connection with life. Ultimately, the importance of choice is that it allows us to experience the fullness of our freedom, our potential, and our humanity. In choosing, we embrace the paradox of life and navigate its complexities with greater awareness and purpose. The heart of discipline is the path of effort, focus, and self-imposed structure. It's the side of life where we take control, where we decide to take the reins and steer our own course, often with a sense of determination and willpower. This is the place where we face the challenge of pushing against the natural flow, setting boundaries for ourselves, and creating systems that we believe will lead us to success. It's the heart of striving, of exerting energy and time to shape ourselves and our world into something specific. In this realm, we often set goals, measure progress, and make plans. We impose deadlines, structure our days, and hold ourselves accountable. The external world, to a large degree, becomes something we must manipulate, bend, and mold to fit our vision. This takes discipline and inner strength that requires us to say no to distractions, to delay gratification, and to stay focused on long-term rewards. The heart of discipline involves the resistance to the short-term comforts that might lead us astray, the temptation to give up when the going gets tough, and the challenge of continuing to push forward despite obstacles. There is also a constant sense of struggle in the heart of discipline. It's not always a pleasant process. Often it feels like we are swimming upstream, exerting force just to stay afloat. The natural flow of life may seem to pull us in different directions, and our desires may conflict with the demands of responsibility. We find ourselves in a battle between our wants and our duties, constantly weighing the costs of action against the rewards of persistence. It's a struggle against the inertia of comfort and ease, a fight to make progress even when we don't feel like it. In this context, discipline isn't merely about building habits or creating order. It's also about the mental toughness required to stay committed, even when results don't come quickly, when success seems distant, or when failure looms. It's about the ability to keep going even when the journey feels long and the obstacles seem insurmountable. It's about developing the resilience to face setbacks, to pick yourself up after falling, and to continue the climb toward the summit, even though you can't always see the top. Discipline demands a certain kind of sacrifice too. It requires us to let go of instant gratification and to be willing to endure discomfort in exchange for the rewards that may come later. It asks us to dedicate ourselves fully to a purpose, to follow through even when we would rather quit. In this way, the heart of discipline often feels like a path of denial, a denial of ease, of indulgence, of distractions, because we are committed to a deeper, longer-term vision. But the challenge lies in balance. Too much discipline can lead to burnout, rigidity, and an unrelenting drive that leaves little room for joy or spontaneity. It can create a life that feels mechanical, disconnected from the flow of the present moment. Yet without discipline, without some level of structure, there is no way to move forward, no way to achieve the things we truly desire. Discipline, then, is both the key to progress and the very source of its own difficulty, because it demands effort, sacrifice, and a continual decision to choose hard work over comfort.